Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is TJ.
Hello.
And we march on with our 5th annual 31 Days of Horror, where we watch a different horror movie every single day in October. Today marks day 4, and our movie for tonight was Sound of My Voice. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. So let's get into the cast and crew rundown real fast. I'm only doing the major players, and do not give me any crap about the director's name.
Okay.
The director, his last name has the word Batman in it. I'm not even kidding. It's Zal Batmanglij. I know I'm not saying that right, but it's the word Batman, then Glij at the end. So Batmanglij? I'm butchering that. I'm so sorry. He has also done The East and the OA. This was written by Zal and Britt Marling. And the main cast, Peter Aitken was Christopher Denham. He has been in Argo and Shutter Island. Lorna Michelson was Nicole Vicious. She was in 500 Days of Summer and Last Days. Maggie was actually Britt Marling, the writer, one of the writers, who looks a lot like Emma Roberts to me.
Mm-hmm.
She has been in Another Earth, The East, and the OA, all of which she has also written.
Kudos to her.
Right. And I'm interested in the OA for the future for us to watch.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's along the same lines of the plot as this, kinda, but different.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just added Klaus because I thought he looked really cool. That was Richard Wharton, and he's been in Seven Psychopaths and tons of TV stuff.
Which one was Klaus?
Just the dude with the cool ass, like, long gray hair.
Oh, okay.
Who looked like a cult leader. He looked awesome. I thought he looked really cool.
He looked like, I can't remember the actor's name, but Data from Star Trek when he was in Independence Day.
Oh, Brent Spiner was in Independence Day?
Both 1 and 2.
Okay, well. It's been decades since I've seen one, so I'll take your word on that. That's cast and crew unless you have anyone else.
No, I didn't recognize anybody.
Yeah, me either. Let's get into our initial thoughts. So this is one of those, not exactly a horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
which we go in blind, so we don't know what we're getting into. But I wrote down that it had like a low-key intensity to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was definitely amping up on the tension. It's very thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what exactly we saw. Like I know what we saw, but then the end just changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the gist is basically this woman says she's from the future and somehow traveled back in time and is amassing like this cult almost around her for some kind of transfer or something. The people in the cult are going to go somewhere. And it goes from there. And eventually Lorna gets contacted by the Justice Department and claims that, Maggie is this other person who's a con artist. And after the end, I'm like, okay, who were they really?
Yeah, because the Justice Department, when that woman was in her hotel room and she's like sweeping for bugs and like that's way more high level espionage type stuff going on than Justice Department.
I thought she was an assassin at first
Mm-hmm.
because of how thorough she was being and all the stuff in her case. We left thinking pretty much that Maggie's legit and that possibly, the Justice Department lady, was she also from the future? Was she coming back to get her?
And then there's also the questions of the little girl. Like
I was just going to say that, yeah. Okay, what was the significance of showing so much of her?
Yeah.
What was being injected into her feet?
Uh-huh.
What did she have? Something was up with her then, if she's the mom, theoretically, of Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
That she possibly could have passed on to Maggie. It's very strange. I was sad to read that this was supposed to be a trilogy of movies.
Ah.
that following Maggie and the cult, and I really wish they'd made more. Because I think this cliffhanger is a little too severe to just call it one and done. This is actually written to be like a web series. That's why we had like the 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. through the movie. So it was like parts, but they decided to adapt it into a movie with the idea of doing a trilogy, which I really wish they would.
Yes.
I want to know more about what happened. So,
but that explains all the unanswered questions.
yeah, and there was a lot. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very much under the radar. It's been out for, 7 years now? So, way under my radar. Even though we have talked about seeing this for a while. It's hard to talk about because there's nothing concrete, really. You want to go ahead and go to the breakdowns?
Yeah.
All right. What was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene. This is going to be another one of those moments where it's not particularly a scene, but I just loved Maggie.
Okay.
I loved how the actress portrayed her, how she spoke her dialogue. She was both very, very manipulative.
Yeah.
I guess that's the number one thing. She was just super manipulative, super confident about her manipulation.
Which also played into the idea that she could be a con artist. But that idea goes into my favorite scene, which was the whole exchange between her and Peter during the apple scene was super intense. Where she was basically just getting blood from a stone with him.
Which, I mean, even the moment that scene happened, it's very coincidental that she would be asking him to throw up the moment that he swallowed a camera.
Yeah, I thought this. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it is coincidence. I think she knew. And that's the reason why she had them throw up. It's just, it further drives in the point that she is definitely much more than a con artist.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I like the way it was written, because there's an argument to be made for both sides. But I'm with you. I think that there was more there than meets the eye. I just thought it was a really good scene, like a really good between a group of people, but between two actors. It was a really awesome scene. So that was my favorite scene. If any, holy shit moment.
I know it's lame to say so, but probably just eating the worms.
Okay, fair.
Just, ugh.
My holy shit moment was when the little girl did the handshake.
Okay, yeah, respect.
I was like, oh, damn, okay. And then knowing what was going to happen, I was like, I thought you were a con artist. But you might not be. Especially when the girl's like, how do you know my secret handshake? I'm like, oh my God. What? Yeah, that was mine. If any, mediocre moment.
The very, very last montage that happened at the end.
Yep.
I was just like, what's up with this poppy-ass music? And which sucks. And why this montage? I mean, this is like a rom-com montage.
Yeah. The 2 weeks I spent with Maggie. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. It just seems so out of place, and it seemed like such a bullshit way to end.
It felt like we were supposed to see something there, or take something away from it, but I don't know what that would be. My mediocre moment is also the same thing, though. After such a strong hour and 20 minutes, that last 10 seconds, whatever.
Yeah.
I even watched through the credits. I thought there might be a bonus scene. There's not. The only reason you do a montage, there's a point to it. There's always a point. There has to be a point to that. So maybe it's just mediocre because we're not seeing the point. But as of right now, it is also my mediocre moment. If any, LOL moment.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't think I have one either. Let's substitute LOL moment. I'll throw one out there. What was your favorite thought-provoking thing, whatever that Maggie said? Since you liked her character so much, what was like something that she said or mentioned or did that stood out the most to you?
Probably the part that was your favorite scene, how she manipulated him at that point. Even if it's like without nefarious means, it was a manipulation to help him let go.
Right.
Which is what he needed at that time. But then there's there's just so much of her manipulations that were just spot on. How she requested for the child, or how she responded to the one dude questioning. I mean, that right there, when he's like, tell us something that is from the future, and she's like, can you tell me something from 7 years before you were born?
Yeah, 20, but yeah.
Yeah, and then, just the moment I give you something that happens in the future, you're going to ask for another moment, and then another moment, and another moment. And I can totally respect, if she is from the future, I can totally respect her reasons for refusing to give answers. But also at the same time, if you're from the future and you don't want people to think that you're building a cult, then don't make it so fucking cult-like.
And don't sing the Cranberries.
Yeah.
Sing a song from the future. I knew that, like, a line in, like, this is the Cranberries.
I know this.
Yeah. For me, I think what stood out the most was when she said most deaths are suicides. I was like, yes. Because I firmly actually do believe that. Because, whether you get, like she said, cancer from smoking, you've just killed yourself slowly.
I mean, it plays back to one of our favorite moments from Annihilation when she's talking about how, I can't remember how it's exactly worded, but how the human condition is basically programmed to destroy itself.
Right, yep. Like, human nature is, like, destructive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I thought about, what you put in your body giving you diseases and cancer and whatnot and all that stuff. It's like in heart disease and all that. Yeah, people are slowly killing themselves because for gluttony. So that was probably my favorite part. That just resonated the most with me personally. Is there anything else you'd like to add? You want to go to notes?
Just that another thing that I found curious was her origin story. How she said that, she woke up in the bathtub and couldn't remember who she was. And Klaus told her that her tattoo meant that she was a traveler, and the 54 stood for 2054. And I'm like, how would Klaus know that?
Yeah, I think it's one of those many unanswered things that we probably would have gotten in a movie 2 or 3.
Yeah, it could be, she's just a white chick in the valley that woke up that had strange tattoos. I'm sure that happens all the time in the valley.
But then once I saw that it was meant to be a trilogy, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
They couldn't have answered everything yet.
I'm willing to bet the OA is going to be a revised version of this.
Possibly, because it sounds sort of familiar-ish. Kind of, sort of. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything spoilery for people that haven't seen it yet. Anything else?
No.
Okay, let's go to Philip's notes. There's probably not much. I thought it was one of the more interesting opening scenes that we've seen in quite some time.
I'll definitely agree with that.
Are you yawning?
Yes, sorry.
Am I boring you?
No.
So I was confused at first because, first I said that the dude was bad at obeying cult rules, but I didn't realize he was trying to film stuff. At the time, I'm like, put your fucking head down. I don't know what this cult is. I don't know what they're going to do. The 2054 revelation that you mentioned earlier was also a minor holy shit moment. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. It wasn't the holy shit moment. And then what threw me is in chapter 2 or whatever. I think they were back at their house, I think, or something. I was like, they're just allowed to leave? What kind of cult is this? Like, I was really confused because usually in a cult, you're in the cult. You can't go anywhere. Oh, I want whatever the little girl's building stuff with.
Yes.
That looked really fun.
Yeah, it was like ultra Legos.
Yeah, someone that owns Lego. I was like, I want that. That's awesome. You can build it on the wall. I'm all about that. The part where he swallowed the camera thing, I thought he was going to stick it up his ass. Just for a second. And I was like, please don't show me that. The whole self-vomiting parts, the whole vomit scene. It's like a trigger. I don't like that. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, I got on my phone at that moment.
I wrote bad timing to swallow that thing. The camera or whatever. Okay, Lorna sounded a lot like Jennifer Tilly. Like, a lot. I was like, are they related? No, they're not. The whole shooting range scene. What was the point?
Mm-hmm.
It's another unanswered question. That's.
And at that moment, I mean, it was just also Peter was a dick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, I'm hanging out with the cult leader chick, but there's nothing going on. Why are you going to question me about this? But oh, one of the cult members took you to fire a gun. What's going on? Why are you doing that? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. 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 He was kind of a dick. But as they had nailed home, he was kind of a control freak. So.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought the Justice Department lady said to Lorna, and then I'll tell you what they really want her for, as far as the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, what do they want her for?
Mm-hmm.
we never find out anything.
No.
Which is probably the point, since there's supposed to be more. I wrote fasting for a week plus worms equals nope.
Mm-hmm.
Then Lorna saying I'm vegan. Maggie says fair enough. It's like awesome. I would have gotten out of that. Anyone else have been eating worms?
Like, I'm surprised the rest of the cult members were like, I'm vegan. I'm vegan too. I'm vegan.
They were totally into Maggie's whole thing. And then I wrote, are the investigation people real, legit, or is Maggie legit? That's the whole, that's the big question. I love the part where Peter says to the little girl, don't be scared. She's like, why would I be scared?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really clever.
And another question mark was, why did she write terrorist on the girl's backpack?
Yeah. There's so much unanswered stuff. But it was still good.
Yes.
So, bravo to Zal and Britt for writing something that answered nothing, but still was entertaining. And those are actually all for my notes. So,
okay.
Anything else you'd like to add, or we can go to final thoughts?
Final thoughts is good.
As said, this was confusing. A big giant mystery, bunch of question marks, but still highly entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, as I said in the beginning, like low-key intensity. It just kind of built.
Mm-hmm.
And that crescendo with the little girl, like it was just like, oh God, what's going to happen now? Are they like sex traffickers or like something really gross like that? Or is she legit? With all the little plot holes, apparently, possibly, in the movie, still really enjoyed it. And it was a very interesting watch.
Yes. Completely agree.
Okay. Awesome. It's good to be in agreement. So, that takes care of final thoughts. But before we go, as it pertains to sound of my voice, what did we learn?
I learned that in suburbia, you just never really know what goes on in people's basements.
Fair. I don't know what the fuck I learned because I don't know what the fuck was going on. So, there we go. The end. Well, that wraps up day 4. Thank you for listening. If you've seen Sound of My Voice, tell us what you thought of the movie in the comments below. What are your theories about what happened? Maybe we can all put our heads together and come up with something concrete instead of feeling like we're walking around in wet cement.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. And please subscribe to the channel, including hitting that notification bell to stay up to date on the newest content. Speaking of, for day 5, we will be watching the movie Incident in a Ghostland. Maybe it ought to be horror.
I'm willing to bet it's going to be horror.
So, until tomorrow, once again, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
And we will return then to talk about Incident in a Ghostland. Goodbye.
Bye.